Good evening and welcome now to episode 3 of our weekly Dynamite review. My name is Sam Wakefield from the Monday Night Chores. You can find me at Kid Waco on Twitter. And this is my boy GG from Says Something About Wrestling. I just
Hello.
fumble over your podcast because I don't want anyone really knowing what it is. And yeah, we are this week, GG, with the young schmucks. I got too much grief about the hung bucks, so here
Mm.
we are as the young schmucks. Maybe next week it'll be the dumb fucks.
The young
Who knows?
cucks.
The young cocks, yeah. I mean, they're all equally as awful. Maybe we need to drop the whole young buck thing, but you know, controversy creates podcast listeners. Is this the old
Yeah,
saying? What they say, isn't it? Oh, and sometimes cash, but not in my
sometimes.
experience. No podcast I've ever been near has ever made a dime. So,
S- Speaking of podcasts, if you want to just quickly tell everyone where they can find you, what you've got coming up, quickly.
Monday Night Chores, pro wrestling podcast where we take a look at the Monday Night Wars between WWF Raw and WCW Monday Night Show. We look at every episode and try and decide who really were the winners of the Monday Night Chores. And you can find us on Instagram at mun_night_chores. I could be wrong. And if I am, I'm sure I'll get a text from Dave or Gaz now. And also on Twitter, I don't know what that is because I wrote it down. And Gigi, tell us about your show. There's something about wrestling. What do you do on there?
So find me at GG on Wrestling on Twitter. Listen to There's Something About Wrestling wherever you get your podcast from. Series 2 is oh so close, covering lots of wrestlers, 3 parts for each individual wrestler. So I really want to explore. I think we're going to start the series with a bang as a little teaser for you. And make sure you check out this YouTube channel, like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Amazing.
What What did you think of the my one off the
Yeah,
back
you're missing Sue, man. You've got it bad. You've got Sue
of
fever.
it? Oh, I've
I
definitely
mean,
tested positive for that, mate, many times.
I've as I said, my mother-in-law is Sue, so there's no shortage of Sue in my life. I can go and get my Sue fix whenever I want.
You're a lucky,
Any
lucky man. I was very
anytime
glad
dynamite.
to get our suffix or my suffix this week.
Yeah. I popped hard for seeing Sue in her minivan. Not to again steal any other podcast's freight. Look at that.
Don't
A
give
man
that.
so in love. Yeah, no, that definitely needs to be gift. So I think we both agreed this dynamite was what it said on the tin, wasn't it? It was absolutely dynamite. So I'm going to head straight in, GG, if you don't mind, because we're trying to keep this to about 30, 35 minutes, aren't we? 40, 45 minutes. I think last week we went nearly an hour due to my incoherent ramblings. So
But there was too much good stuff, mate, as there is every week. It gets difficult.
there was, yes. And this week there's even more. So my only thing I've had to cut out this week, unfortunately, is the ladies. I've not done. We've covered everything, but unfortunately, something had to get cut because there was just not enough time, and it was Nyla Rose who got the snip, and Tay Conte, and uh, moving on. So we opened with a bang, didn't we? Christian Cage versus Frankie Kazarian, and for me, this we discussed this last week again. Being in the first match is it's an important spot to be. We're all sitting there waiting with our fucking fruit shoots, waiting for Dynamite to come on, and you want it to start with a bang. And I thought it was brilliant. The match started off kind of slow, not like what we're used to in Dynamite. It was a bit of a
Mm.
feeling out stage, and I thought I hope some of the talent backstage are sort of paying attention here, and you don't have to go running in with the tope suicidas, and without me sounding too much like a Jim Cornette, I just thought it was nice to get two guys who people complain and say, "Oh, you got old TNA guys and old WWE guys," but what they will bring to Dynamite more than just what their on-screen presence is to teach the young schmucks backstage what how to pace a match. There he is, Captain Charisma, outwork everyone. And I think there's a good argument to say he probably did outwork everyone, maybe.
Well, not everyone, just Frankie Kazarian this week.
Well, that's the only person. That's the only person he needed to outwork, really. Do you have any
Very
thoughts
true.
on this? I've got a few little points, but
Yeah, overall, like you said, it was a good opening match.
hmm,
I liked. I mean, dare I say, I enjoyed Christian in this match. I think it was a good TV match, and I think, like you said,
hmm,
the pacing was good, and it showed a very different style of work.
absolutely.
Because I think, maybe a lot of people possibly had in their mind the new work rate and what that means, and outworking
Hmm,
everyone. Was he going to come
hmm,
in and zip around? But not necessarily, and he
yeah,
just, like you said,
no,
worked
yeah.
Frankie Kazarian.
I think when you're a Christian Cage, work has a different meaning. It doesn't mean how many times you can come off the ropes and how many false finishes you can have. I think it's about the pacing of the match, isn't it? Bringing the people up, working the marks. That's what it's really about. I loved the little spot where Christian got, I think he got a back elbow or shoulder tackle and he just fell through the middle and bottom
Yeah,
rope.
that looked
I love
good.
stuff like that in wrestling. Like a bit like you were saying, actually it was on the chores you were saying it just something looks a bit more real, doesn't it? It doesn't look so beautiful and like choreographed.
Mm.
So I liked that. A real nice hard shot to Kaz on the outside. He was talking a bit of smack and he just bit of a chest slap there, but I don't mind that in its place. Yeah, and I mean, as I already said, people moan, oh, another old WWE guy coming in, but it's going to have more impact backstage than it is to the TV ratings. I think if you
Yeah,
can
see,
get a Christian, yeah, go on.
I think you're right. Like, the name is good, but just on your WWE point, I think it was a very kind of, dare I say it, WWE style TV match,
It was absolutely,
apart from what
yeah.
we're used to.
Yeah, no, it really was. But imagine if you could get like a Christian Cage sitting down with I don't know, a Joey Janela, someone who I think has got great potential. A lot of people
Mm.
don't like him, but his look, his charisma, his like facials, and his fundamentals are good. But just eke that little bit of backyard out of him, maybe, and just put a bit of polishing up, a bit of the old, give him a bit of the NXT treatment, as it were. But no, great match. Obviously, we knew who was going to go over, and yeah,
Did
it
you
was
did you
nice.
notice as well? Christian Cage had JR on his tights, and I don't
Did
think it was
he?
necessarily an ode to Jim Ross, but his real name's Jay Russo, isn't it? I thought that was a bit. It's just a weird
I
detail I
thought
noticed. I'm not sure why he had.
maybe it's for Joe Rogan podcast. Maybe he wants to be a guest.
He's got some money, mate, so might cut him a
Yeah,
nice deal.
Rogan would love to have him on. I'm sure he knows who he is.
So, just to on that match, do you think
Hmm.
that has now proved the point in terms of Christian, that he's, is he living the gimmick brother? Is he outworking
Yeah,
everyone?
yeah. I had you at the forefront of my mind when I was watching this. Is it going to be like a fuck you, and he's going to win in some cheap little way, and the whole thing is like, oh, I outwork everyone, then he finds a different way to cheat? I think that would be good, but I'm not taking anything away from most people who watch wrestling. I think that could be lost on a lot of people, and that it would just get crappy AEW Twitter backlash. I think he just had to. It was a genuine statement, wasn't it? I'm gonna outwork everyone, and he didn't have to win me over. He didn't have to prove anything to me. I know where he sits in my kind of fandom. Um, and yeah, the kill switch attempts never looked like a credible threat to me because they were so slow and then so when the final one came, it came quite quick, and you knew that was it. But
That
that's
was
great. It's
that was one of the
yeah,
best kill switches I've ever seen delivered. That had such
yes,
pizzazz to it, and the way he threw him against the post first, so he could actually hook it on his arm,
yep,
I
yep,
thought was
yep.
good. And I thought it looked
And
great.
that was great storytelling in itself because was that kind of purposely done very slow and methodical? Because I was thinking, oh please, the lack of momentum going into this kill switch. If it ends now, it's just going to look so shit. Maybe
Mm.
that was the thing. Like, oh, can he still do this move? And then all of a sudden he gets enough, momentum and he does it. So yeah, thumbs up to Christian's debut for me.
Mm.
Absolutely. After this, we had a Sting and Darby Allen clip. What were your thoughts on this, big man?
Fucking brilliant. I
Yeah,
love these bloody promo packages that Darby
I
does
do.
because they're all pretty much conceived from his, crazy
Yeah, yeah,
mind,
yeah,
and they just look brilliant. The music's always good, and just the whole thing of it, I just love. Like
yeah,
this shot alone is just brilliant. Just
yeah. I love
you know,
that.
so good,
He's
man.
he's clearly got a bit of background in how to put together a, obviously from being a pro skater, you know,
Mm.
grassroots level. I guess they start off filming and editing their own stuff, and now he's got the tools that Tony Khan's given him. I think he could have a really long career. People were saying that how he wrestles, he'll be in a wheelchair before long, but if he leans more heavily on this sort of stuff, he can just really become like an attraction guy who just, he's there's bits and pieces, but he can just do a pay per view here, a Dynamite there, and then he can wrestle that kind of hectic style.
I think you're right,
Yeah.
man. I think you're right. I
Mm,
think, especially with like you said, the Christians and the big shows backstage, I think, those older heads are going to kind of tell him, look, mate, slow yourself down. This is how
yeah,
last.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's got a
But
real
yeah,
flair
brilliant.
for it. Yeah.
And I love
Then
sorry, I just love like
go on,
just the final line in that the package was, you
go
need to
on.
earn my respect. Your money don't mean shit to Matt Hardy,
Mm.
because fuck Matt Hardy. I hate Matt Hardy.
I didn't mind Matt Hardy. I didn't. I liked Broken Matt, but now I'm with you. Fuck Matt Hardy. He's come
After
in.
what he's done.
He's come in and he's done the typical kind of big name guy thing of like he can't handle this freedom that he's got. I think he spent so many years captive of like throwing ideas and them going, well, okay, let's channel that and do this. I think he's so creative that Tony Khan's like, do what you want. So he's been a different character every 3 weeks.
Mm,
He, I,
they're giving him
I
too
like the
much.
thing where he kind of switches into this portal and he's like, oh, it's Team Extreme, Matt. And that was all right. But this big money, Matt, that's like, so that's all just forgotten now. So yeah, fuck Matt Hardy as far as I'm concerned right now. But I could change my mind because I'm very fickle, to be fair. What did you think of Jade Cargill? I
Love
think
her.
she's money. Yeah.
She is money. She told us she was money in that promo,
She
and
yes, yes.
she's right.
And I believed her.
She's very
Yeah.
right.
She says what she means, and but what is to not believe when you see her? She's an absolute destroyer. So
Mm.
yeah, very positive for 2 little segments we saw there. And then we've got QT Marshall already waiting in the ring. And as JR pointed out, he didn't get an entrance. I liked that little added lags. JR was like, well, this is exactly what he's pissed off about.
Yep.
Cody's
Yeah.
come out with all the Nightmare family or the Nightmare collective or the Nightmare fucking whatever they are. What did you think of the match? Do you have
Yeah.
any?
I, it, I mean, for an exhibition match, it was all about, we're not going to hurt each other, but they were still doing drop kicks, and Cody did
Yeah,
the gold dust drop down, whatever that thing is that he does, like the
yeah,
uppercut.
but yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep. Sliding through the rope.
So I didn't really get that, because to me, I mean, a drop kick's going to hurt, and
Yeah.
I thought the whole thing about, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm not going to land the crossroads. It's like he's
Mm,
really trying to put
mm,
that over, isn't he? Because you're finished. If I hit the crossroads,
yeah, yeah,
I don't know what it's
yeah.
going to
It's
be
like it's
like for
very
you.
patronising, isn't it? Like, I won't hurt you. We'll have a little roll around. I mean, I had it stuck in my head. This is an exhibition, and then I had the question: what is an exhibition in pro wrestling? You're kind of going down a rabbit hole of like, okay, this is a choreographed entertainment fight, but we suspend that disbelief to believe it's real, and then we've got to kind of think, well, how do you do it as an exhibition?
Mm,
They've done an okay job. For me, I liked how they started off, and then the violence factor, the intensity built a little bit. It reminded me of Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels at King of the Ring? They were tag team partners, and they both agreed they weren't going to go too crazy. And as the match went on, they got gritted their teeth a bit more, and that was a better example of how to do a match like that, like two
mm.
begrudging opponents. Although QT wanted it, but I mean,
was all about the
It-
post
it-
match, really, wasn't it? It was,
yeah, that's
that,
yes.
when he bloody cheap shotted on Anderson, I was a bit like, oh bloody hell! I wasn't
What? Yeah,
not on anyone but on.
yeah. You don't put your yeah, and that's what I was getting to. It was all for the end, and I loved it. I
Mm.
don't think you could have taken this in a better direction than they've all turned on Cody.
So did you expect that at all? Because obviously I think
No,
everyone's expecting the QT hill turn or the slow. It's been a slow burn up until now, but I wasn't expecting the whole divide in the family. I thought that was good, man. That was good shit.
yeah, I think it's how it has to be because Cody is so strong. Anything else than the whole of his family against him, and I'm assuming his brother, and because you kind of had Billy Gunn and his two sons and Dustin were kind of brought in as the old guard, and
Mm.
I'm guessing they're going to side with Cody, and then they
And
was
Lee
like, this is the
Johnson.
nightmare. Yes, big shotty, he'll stay, and then this was like, this is the Nightmare Academy. But what a brilliant way to elevate these people. I mean, to use an AEW term, elevate, but these guys, and they done this quite a lot in Dynamite last night. Is these guys were guys from Dark who were mainly losing to bigger stars and then getting some wins. This is just put them up to the next level, and that is exactly what a wrestling promoter. It's wrestling promoter 101. Take guys who didn't mean anything initially and make them into stars. Like
But that's
you've got
why
to
you've got to
build
love
stars.
Cody. That's why you've got to love Cody because he's the one
Yeah,
putting himself in this program as well.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
sure at some point he's possibly, if this continues how it looks like it's going to, he'll probably end up
yeah.
taking a loss to one of those young lads. Do you know what I mean? And really put them
Yeah,
over.
most likely. Yeah, or
Um,
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
I love the so the just the end carnage, Dustin getting beaten
Yeah,
down, the
pile
pile
driver
driver
on
on
the
the steel
steps.
steps, yeah, Jinx padlock.
Mm, mm.
um, yeah, and the rib shot from Anthony Agogo, and then
Oh, yes.
I really enjoyed Red Velvet's part in this as well. I think
Yeah,
it was such conviction with those lines.
yeah.
I think she nailed it.
She called him a shit or a dick or something. She was just like, "Don't be a dick," wouldn't she? Just I
I don't
overheard her
know.
say, but I love Red Velvet. The only thing I don't like about her is this. Like, come on, drop
You never
you. I
you've
know
never been
Red
in the
Velvet's a cake.
you've never been in the bando, Sam. You've never been whipping
Clearly
it in the
not.
bando.
I liked it when she said, "I'm going to stir your bitch ass up" to Jade Cargill. I was like, I like that, but she's got to drop the whole fucking stirring things as far as I'm concerned. But no, it was good. It's elevated everyone. There was a bit of suspense. Like, is Red Velvet going to get a chair shot to the side of the fucking noggin? She didn't. So you know, she effectively saved everyone. No, great. Brilliant. It's progressed something, hasn't it? We've seen a match. It's entertained us. It's done something, and now like we've moved some guys on. We've made progression, and that's all you want to do, don't you? Because sometimes AEW can feel like it's spinning its wheels.
Yeah, especially with the inner circle stuff and the Derby Sting stuff we've seen, but they
Yeah,
can really push things along and shock you like they have this week, which is brilliant.
yeah, absolutely. Do you want to talk about Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page? No,
Bit of a
they had a
nothing.
segment about being overlooked.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
And it was like a mirror promo, wasn't it? But that was what it was.
yeah, they're going to have a match on Elevation versus the Seidel brothers. So good match. I will probably watch that. Um, Velvet backstage gets attacked by Cargill. Have
So,
a little
like you just said, she saved the day, and what did she get? Bless her. Straight away.
popped.
That was
Yeah.
brilliant. That was
Mm.
definitely good.
That was good. But what was better was John Moxley's promo backstage. I'm going to call it a pissed off promo.
Yeah, it's that pisses me off promo.
I love that because did you notice the things that piss him off got more and more petty? It started off with, the big things where he's been screwed over. And then by the end of a promo, he says, "It's hot in here and I've got a headache." That's pissing me off. Like, just that, like, he takes his coat off, doesn't he? These scars and scratches.
Yeah,
There
I've
is
got
not.
because it was I can't get the sound of his leg snapping in that chair.
Yes.
That pisses me off.
Yeah.
Getting jumped and attacked by goons every 2 seconds. That pisses me off. The Bucks
Yeah.
can't figure
Yeah.
out if they want to be in the fight or not, and I still owe you guys one. That pisses me off. I've got these
Yeah.
burns and barbed wire wounds. and then, like you said, I've got a headache. That pisses me off.
I'm hot. I've got a headache. Like he's just like he's. I don't think there's a better. I don't think there's a better babyface promo than John Moxley in AEW at the moment. I'm sure Jericho might be coming round that corner in the next few months. Obviously, MJF's great heel promo, but it's the nearest thing to the Austin promo of like, yeah, you're pissed off, going like, and he comes out and he kicks a bin over and everything. Like, it's just brilliant.
But
It's the Moxley we've always wanted.
So believable. Like it's although obviously these things aren't, you know, really happening, they sound like they are to him, and these small things, and he's just getting across. I'm pissed off. That pisses me off. That pisses me off. And now this is why I'm angry, and I've got to fight Caesar Bonone. And you know,
and I might just kill him. His kid's got a great future, and I was fully expecting Bish Bash Bosh and Bonone to be laying there looking at the lights, but yet again, like we talked about in the Cody QT match, Bonone's got leveled up now, hasn't he? As a result of this match, he has leveled up.
Have you heard about Cesar? So I think shout to Cesar Bonone, by the way, because I think he's going through a bit of trouble in Brazil in terms of the healthcare system at the moment. So AEW are trying to kind of give him a spotlight and, you know, help him out a bit, I guess. And, you know, fair play to him. He's you know, he's grabbing the ball and he's running with it. He's looking good.
So far, everything I've seen, I mean, he's got all the tools, everything's there. And I mean, what I just came away with is how do you make a guy with no name look like a star? You put him in with a star and you let the star give him something. And Moxley or whoever booked it was very generous towards him because I don't know, it was a good 7 or 8 minute match, wasn't it? I know it all sort of broke down into nothing.
Mayhem.
But yeah, I enjoyed it.
I liked the because at the end of his promo he said, all I know tonight, somebody's getting dropped on their head and somebody's getting choked out. And what happened at the end of the match? Ryan Nemeth got dropped on his head and Cesar Bonone got choked out. So he's a believable baby face. You can trust in what he's saying. He's going to deliver.
He delivers. Yeah. Never say something that you can't deliver on. Like apparently one thing you should never say in a wrestling promo is I'm going to kill you, or, you know, silly. I know it's like turn of phrase, but at the end of the night when you ain't delivered, have you? But and then what I liked is we saw Dolph Ziggler get planted on his head, didn't we? He tried to come in and Ziggler version. Yeah. Oh, look at him. He looks like he's about to go, doesn't he? Puffy eyed. But yeah, I take my hat off to him. I mean, I'm not actually going to take my hat off because I have to take my headphones off. And not doing that.
I'm not wearing.
But it was great. Yeah,
I don't know if you noticed. I'm not wearing a hat.
Is that not a hat?
No, it's imaginary. See?
Oh, it's your scalp. Amazing. Pinnacle.
It's Team Taz next, isn't it? Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, no, you're right. It was.
I just wanted to just point out Ricky Starks. Look at him. What is he doing?
He's a badass. Oh, sorry, I was looking at Hook. Yeah, look at Ricky. I thought I had Ricky Starks in the middle. I love Starks, so
look at.
I don't know what he's about. I don't know, you know, where he's coming from, but I like him. I like him a lot.
But yeah, so all that segment was just obviously build into a little heat between Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, which I'm excited for. Yes.
Now, I'm quite often not trusting AEW and just sort of going, this is no good. So I'm going to let it play out. For me at the moment, it feels like we've got too many factions with, you know, dissension in the ranks. It's just happened in the Nightmare Collective. Or what? That was Brandy Rhodes and Awesome Conway. It's happened in the Nightmare family. We just saw it within a circle who've now split off the Pinnacle. That worked great. I loved it. They hooked me in. Now we're seeing it in Team Taz, but since I've been wrong so many times, I'm gonna hold off.
I think Brian Cage would be a good baby face. I don't know if you see BT this week. He was doing kick flips on a skateboard, and he was
Was
there.
he?
He done about 20 attempts, bless him, and then he did it. But yeah, I think he'll be all right. I think he'll
Yeah.
be okay.
I need to get back into BTE because I watched it for a while. Yeah, no, I'll definitely stay tuned. I think out of anyone there, it needs to be Cage because he can be like the Batista in Evolution, not that they're anything like that, who's getting held back. But then who does he really go against in that group, which is kind of credible?
Oh, hopefully Will Hobbs by the
Starks.
time.
What do you
Well,
think, Hobbs?
well, eventually it will, or maybe he gets through Hobbs and then Ricky Starks is the end boss.
Because
But
those two did have a scrap, didn't they, before Hobbs joined Team Taz? Might
possibly,
have been on Dark. Yeah, they did have a match. I'm sure they did. But yeah, let's let it play out. See, it's so far so good though. So now, can we talk about Pinnacle in the Inner Circle?
yes, we
I
can.
loved this. This was
This was bloody
amazing.
good.
When they opened the door, to the toilets, and there they are. Look, Jericho has yet again changed his look totally. He looks like the guy out of Princess Bride now, and not Andre the Giant.
Anybody want a peanut?
Yeah. I loved it. It was such a brilliant brawl. Let me look at the right set of notes, and I could actually tell you what I thought about it. So we had someone go through a massage table. We had someone
Wardlow.
Wardlow through the massage table. We had Cash go into an ice bath. MJF gets a swirly, gets his head flushed down the toilet. Then he gets smashed through a Pepsi fridge. That's a lot of gimmicks, isn't it? That's a lot of things I've never seen before and thought I'd never say. I loved the touch from. I love every interaction between Wardlow and Hager, but Hager put him through that table like a badass, and then just said to the medics, "Don't touch him." And they were like they went to help him, and they was like, "Leave him. He is human garbage." So there's legs in that, aren't there? I know they've had one match, but can't wait.
Did you see Dax's bloody gash on his head?
Yes.
He put some pictures up on Twitter of like the stitching he had to get. It was actually bad, man. Like he got proper cut open.
Hopefully he'll still be able to record Monday Night Chores this weekend. We'll see. I'll send him a text later and see if he's all right. Shout out to Gaz. Yeah. What 2-year payoff to see MJF get his ass kicked. Right, yes, sorry. I was just reading my own notes trying to make sense of them. This is the first time we've seen MJF end up looking like a schmuck. He always comes out on top, doesn't he? We know he's a dick. But
Moxley probably got one over on him, but rarely do we see him get some comeuppance.
No, this was a proper, head down toilet. How he sold, I had to show it to the wife and say, "Look how he sold this." Yeah, he took him out and so he can be that prick and look down on everyone. But when he's on the other side of it, he can look like the most. You've got to look pathetic, haven't you, and snivelling when you're on the other end. And he done a great job of that. And Jericho all of a sudden looks badass again.
Yes, he
Not
does.
too bad.
Grab us a drink, Max. Grab us a pint,
get us
mate.
a Pepsi. Oh, it's empty. Oh, sorry, mate. Is it? There's nothing in here, Chris.
Yeah, so
look further, more to the back.
Really get in there, Max. Come on, behind the cheese. Open the fridge. Smell the cheese.
I know my Grey Goose is in there. Right. So we're doing all right for time, aren't we?
We're doing well, mate.
28. Good stuff. Lucha Bros.
Oh, actually, first
I'm missing spots. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, it's only a little. So Don.
No, I've got a run sheet here, but I'm just not looking at it. I'm just sticking to my main notes.
Yeah, so Don Callis
I like this.
Just calling out Matt Jackson. I actually gasped when he slapped him in the face. I didn't expect him to just give him one around the chops. But yeah, I thought it was deep.
Yeah. Callis delivers always, doesn't he?
So actually, I did write something down about this. You know what I really like about, and this is going to sound very, very soft, but go with me. I like that all this shit is just about friendship. Like when you really like go down to it, this is just about like the way he said like you broke that man's heart last week. Like when it really boils down to it, it's just about friendship and like wanting to be boys and being not being in the same crew and like I like that it doesn't have to be about who slept with whose wife all the time. Probably Edge.
Who probably. He definitely slept with my wife at some point. I have my suspicions. When they did that show in Malden, WWF main event. And Callis said it. Callis said it wasn't about joining this company. It wasn't about joining this group. It was about being with you guys, and it gave another dimension to him. So like, there's nothing better than a bad guy who believes what he's saying. He's not bullshitting. He really feels joyed, and also when what he's saying is true, when you can't really argue with what they're saying. Because it gives another dimension to the guy, doesn't it? So rather than just being like, I'm a bad guy, so I'm just going to do this and be booed. There's no reason for it, just because I'm a bad guy and I come out of that tunnel, not that tunnel. This is kind of more like a story about a man who's got everything in the world he always wanted, but he ain't got his friends, has he?
It's beautiful.
That is beautiful. Yeah, can you quote that and put it on a t-shirt for me, please?
Yep.
Thank you. Write that down. Lovely. Oh, just literally write it on a t-shirt now. No expense spared. Yes, so Luchas. Wow, this was amazing.
So you like this one a bit more because I know last week it was the Lucha Brothers match that we were talking about that was very like high paced and a lot of spots, but you preferred this one?
Yeah, I did. I think I led into this a bit too positively for what I'm now about to say. Like I get very excited for Lucha Bros entrances and all the crazy headgear. I love the music and the fire, and I do love them. Yeah, no, it was great. It was fast paced. It was bordering on too much for me, if I'm honest. Bordering. It wasn't until after I'd just seen Christian and Kaz, and that is more where I come from in wrestling. Not that I think every match should be that. But that needs for it to be its roots. It didn't, but there were too many high spots for me to count, which then too many for me to appreciate. Then to my mind, I think, why are you risking putting yourself in a wheelchair when 3 or 4 big hot spots would have I can only be so satisfied. Do you know what I mean? And by 4 or 5, I'm hit. So the extra ones. Just you risking being a paraplegic that aren't going to get noticed. But I know that's the day and age we're in now.
I think you're right. I do get it because it started off with a lot of a big kind of super kick sequence on Kenny.
Yes, for super kicks.
So what do you think of super kicks? Do you think there was too many in this match? Do you think there are generally too many in wrestling, or do you kind of? Because for me, I personally just see it's just moved on with the times and. The DDT Jake Roberts invented, and you can't not do a DDT. That's just like a fundamental move in wrestling now. So what do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you in the fact of, for me, my personal taste, it is a bit too much. But yeah, okay, the super kick was a finisher for Shawn Michaels, one of the best wrestlers in the world. DDT was one of the most. But you're right. Once someone has done one on the concrete, and we could, and it's not the guys in AEW to blame for that. It's the Attitude Era, it's the Indies, it's ECW, it's anyone who ever did someone else's finishing move and didn't use it to finish a match, because straight away, you got to do a bit more. So, is it to my taste? No, not really. But if we were all the same people, then we'd all live in the same fucking house, wouldn't we? I suppose. But so no, it's the times, isn't it? Look, if I go back and watch some of my favourite films from the 80s, from when I was a little boy, fuck all happens. Really, there ain't no explosions. It's very just story orientated. Now I used to find like the film Deliverance, I thought it was gripping. Nothing happens in it. A guy gets raped, which is pretty morbid, but there's no explosions, no gunfights, no. And then if you put that in the cinema now, kids would be walking out because it's moved on so much, isn't it? So. Yeah.
Sometimes people want to see Fast and Furious, and not Deliverance.
Yeah, I don't. And I don't want to watch Deliverance every. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to go squeal like a pig. That's not what I like. Yeah.
Anyway,
Thank you.
anyway.
Very accommodating. It was good, but I lost count of hot spots. For high spots. Great energy.
Yeah, I think it was that middle section of the match, wasn't it? Because Laredo
Yeah.
Kid a lot of lickings. He was getting thrown
Yeah.
around and beaten, and then the Lucha Brothers came back with a comeback, and then I think they kind of worked Phoenix down in between maybe some high spots, but then I think there was just a lot going on in that kind of middle section. It kind of really picked up, and there was loads of
Yes.
multi-man spots and stuff. But then Kenny just those V triggers looked brilliant. He was it Phoenix? No, sorry, Laredo Kid. He catches him and just slams him down, powerbomb straight away. V trigger, few dives, and then another. That last V trigger was brilliant. The last one,
it was.
He ran and just whacked him, and he sold it like a dream. And then One Winged Angel, finito, really
done. Yeah, he's the man, and that's how he should be booked accordingly. So, I'd like. A lot of that stuff you said, I know I saw it, but my eyes go woo, and there's a point where I have to go, hang on, Sam, like you're watching a wrestling match, watch it. Do you know what I mean? Like pay attention to what's going on. Yeah, as I said, you could have given me less and I would have been equally as satisfied, but how can you complain at being given too much, really? You know, I'm not a Jim Cornette who's going to sit there and go, oh, these like they're highly skilled, great guys. My only thing I'd like to see is rather than keep putting this same group of guys together, let's have a Penta versus a Chris Jericho. Do you know what I mean? Because then he's going to have to slow the pace down because he ain't going to have that sort of match. Or not necessarily even Chris Jericho, but let's like do a bit of a clash of styles where.
I think that was what they were trying to do with Cody, though, wasn't it? Like a couple of weeks
ago.
ago.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they're not doing it, but yeah, I mean I've seen enough Bucks and Lucha Brothers and Omega and.
But what's going on with Pac though? Because obviously, I think Pac should have obviously been involved.
Is he just having travel issues?
I think so, maybe because he's
and that is a bit jarring at AEW sometimes. Just tell me, just say Pac can't make it. Is something wrong with his visa? Like I don't think any less of a company, or because of COVID restrictions, or like he wasn't on TV for 7 months. They never mentioned it. Then they just explained it all in one go after one thing. I mean, maybe it's not a great idea. Oh yes, this little
post-match. So what did you think? So the Young Bucks didn't actually make any contact with them. So where is this going?
It could be a swerve, couldn't it? I'm gonna say again, it's more progression and it looks to me like we're being told the Young Bucks they made their mind up last week, but like you say, there was no what we're waiting for is physical contact. This week again, they've come out. They're clearly standing, side by side with Moxley. Yeah, like if it's slow-term storytelling, if it's making us wait, we don't all need answers this week. Great, like let's see where it goes. Yeah, I'd rather it not be a swerve, but I liked it.
I think I'd be up for Bucks and Kenny together again. Heels. I'm up for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not huge on the Young Bucks really, but I think I'd be happy either way.
Me neither.
Yeah. Also, Dave or Gaz has been pretending they can read as well, and they bought that.
Good book.
They can't tell me nothing about what's happened in it. I mean, they can't tell me about the pictures in the middle. Oh, there's this great picture here.
There's this chapter in it about some weirdo they met on the Jericho cruise.
Is there? Not in the casino about 3 a.m. by any chance, was it?
I haven't got to that bit yet, but I've heard it.
A guy from Malden, England, who grabbed their junk. You want to win the jackpot, do you, boys? I'll show you the jackpot. Come off that. I'll show you the slot where the jackpot's going to be won.
Put it all on white.
Hey. Or brown, I mean.
Oh, wow. So, Britt Baker was next.
Yep, short and sweet, but it just reminded us who she is and where she is.
Yeah, I liked it. Just selling Elevation, wasn't it? It was just right. Watch Elevation.
Was that Tony she had a little shot at? Well, was it Tony they were waiting for? Because he led to them, and then she went, "Where's Tony?" Oh, you just did. I love their little relationship.
Yeah, and her
I
little
really do.
laugh as well. I think her laugh is sick.
Yeah, I love both of them. They're great. They I hope they. I say I hope they handle them right, or they handle this right. That's the cynic in me, who's been brought up in the somewhat abusive relationship of WWF. You know, you've been in this relationship since 11. You get to 36, and all of a sudden there's this new one. It's like, oh, look, well, every step of the way, you're like, don't fuck it up. Don't just, you're going to disappoint. And I can honestly say AEW haven't really disappointed me. We've had little squabbles here and there, but overall, I think it's a happy relationship.
It's like the honeymoon period never ends with AEW.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so. I mean, essentially, what they said they were going to do is make a wrestling promotion for the 18 to 35s, didn't they? And as long as you keep doing that, you know, you know what we like. Even if we don't know.
18 to 35s. Why are you watching it then? Hey.
Oh shit! I didn't even think. That. I use that as just
Burn.
shit. That means I can't go on to an 18 to 30s holiday. I could like for the last 7 years.
You're not missing out, are you?
No, I'm really not. I didn't go to them between the years of 18 to 30, so I ain't gonna now. Right, moving on.
So, the Hardy family office.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's what I skipped.
Tay Conti and Shida, sorry, Ty Conti and Shida versus Nyla and Bunny. Matt has a massive family, and I mean, there's not a lot to go into here. Ty looked brilliant. Nyla looked brilliant again, running through a couple of them in a couple of spots, and
Right.
yeah, they're just really putting the rocket on Ty at the moment, and unfortunately, Bunny gets the win because she obviously needed it, I think. And
probably, yeah.
Decent match, and that was pretty much it, mate.
Like I say, I was looking at time, both time on how our sort of targets for this show, and also physically time of having to put my little girl in the car and be like, I can't watch this anymore. So I thought this is the match I'm gonna choose to miss, and then be able to see them. I didn't want to get through this whole podcast, and then you go, and the Arcade Anarchy match, and I go, yeah, I didn't watch it, mate. So see you next week.
So before that, we get this is happening next week, so we'll hopefully find out what is going to happen here. Then we got a quick Jurassic Express segment. I liked this match graphic. I thought this was pretty cool. It's obviously to sell the Godzilla Kong. They've got some kind of deal there because they mentioned it a couple of times and said, "Oh, this film's coming out. Make sure you watch it." So I think it's a bit of a money spin. So fair play.
It's okay to say that you're collaborating. You know, like we all figure you wouldn't just be saying it like out of goodness of your heart, you know. But yeah, I like Bear Country. I think
they're good.
Tone it, the whole very gimmicky thing down a little bit, mate. I mean, they come out for their heads in bear traps, don't they? I like that. But I'm sure I've seen them wearing furry singlets before. That kind of don't really work on TV, does it?
Like Mantar.
Yeah, and do you remember? Yes, and there's a British wrestler called Wild Boar. He's in NXT UK. I saw him a lot in the independent scene. He used to wear a full-on, like, shitty-looking fur singlet, and then he sort of modified it down to like a fur mohawk just down his back and arse. That looked quite cool, but no, it's totally got rid of it now. You can't be wearing because you've got an animal in your like Rhino never came out in like a grey mat
with a horn on.
You know what? I'm thinking about it now. I wish you wore a mask with two horns on it, and just like Gold Dust wears a complete bodysuit, just that but grey, just matte grey, and he just comes out running at people. Yeah,
and then Ace Ventura comes out the back of him.
Comes out of his arse one day and he just disappears. Oh. Yeah.
So
I've got nothing else to add to that.
No, not at all. Main event time.
Yeah.
And what a main event it was.
Oh, it was lovely, wasn't it?
It was bloody good. So were you quite... I was so surprised. Like I knew it was going to be okay, but because of the gimmick, I wasn't expecting a whole deal. So were you as pleasantly surprised as I was?
I wasn't expecting anything from this. I didn't like the whole convoluted way, like months ago, they managed to throw someone through Miro or Kip's favourite arcade machine. Like, I've got a whole shitload of old consoles here. I don't take any of them to work with me. And I mean, I realistically could, but he took his arcade machine to his first day of work. Like, and so that whole premise was bullshit to me. But the match itself, fucking brilliant. The wall of prizes with
So
all the
good.
weapons on it.
And what did he
Absolutely.
say? That the chair was 20,000 tickets, wasn't it? I think the
Was
steel
it?
chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at the. I know a chain was 15,000. The kendo stick was 10,000. I
What
was
was
like, that's.
it?
I mean, I've spent time down Clacton Pier. It takes a long time
So
to.
what is your favorite arcade then? When you go to the arcade, what's your tipple? What do you like to have a
Current
go
day,
at?
2021.
Yeah, if you were to go to your local arcade with a mega bowl or whatever,
Ah,
what you going for?
M. M.
What's my favorite?
I can't think what we play, but we do regularly go. She's not coming. What do we play at the arcade? Let's go. Well, I mean, when you've got a 3-year-old, it's what do we play at the arcade when we go Clacton? What's our favourite game? Oh, the basketball one. That's it.
I love that
The old
too.
basket. Yeah.
I love that
Em's
one.
never played that in her life. She just stands there going, "Well done. That's really good."
No, I love
What
that's
do you
my
mean?
go-to, or a time crisis.
It's just slagging me off.
As you did it round,
Time crisis.
I was doing a time crisis.
That's probably why she shut the door. Oh, bloody hell! I know he's called G, but like,
Can you just explain to her after I wasn't trying to shoot her? Thank you. I don't
oh
like to
yeah,
think.
I'll try. So, I mean, yeah, if you're going back retro, Time Crisis, House of the Dead, yeah, she's questioning the quality. She's like, "Are you still live? You still talk about shit, and there's meant to be people actually watching." Yeah, Time Crisis, House of the Dead. They always done some good Jurassic Park ones where you're like in a car with machine guns. That was always quite good. Outrun. Who can forget Outrun? But nowadays, I mean, yeah, we tend to go and we play pool and just use the bar at Clacton Pier. But you're all right. You want to be a part? You coming in? She's just she's just staying here. Like,
Didn't even wave
I'm
back.
just
Rude.
oh yeah, that's rude. You're not going to wave back. Oh, got. Okay. She
Let's just do
fucking does
this for an
this.
hour.
She does this on Monday Night Chores. Constantly has to make sure she's like in it in some way. She's
I
even
get it.
taken her dressing gown off tonight, so that's amazing. But anyway, we're running long, young man.
So, what were your
So let's
favourite
talk
moments of
about.
this match?
Um, you'd think that'd be the idea of having notes, wouldn't you? That I would have written that down. So now when you
So,
ask me this, I can tell you. The Wall
so
of
we
Weapons was
yeah,
amazing.
that was brilliant.
Um, Kip Sabian, who I'm not particularly a fan of, even though he only lives like 30 miles away from me, from Galston, Norfolk, he had a lovely little flurry. A teddy bear full of Lego. And Tony Blair, and he said Tony Schiavone. It's not Tony Blair who commentates on Dynamite anymore, is it?
No, he got
No.
replaced.
Yeah, because he started an illegal war with Impact or something. um, I've never heard anyone refer to Lego as Legos in plural. In plural, it's
Legos.
Legos. No one calls it Legos. And then he said, "Oh, hang on.
I've written it down as well.
This reminds me of the 90s with a house full of brats." I don't think
A
that is the
bunch of
exact quote,
young
but
brats.
yeah. Fucking brilliant. And then a sit
That's
out
what they
power bomb
say.
onto the Lego.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
rough.
amazing.
Have you ever
And this
stepped
just show,
on? Have you ever stepped on Lego having a child in the house?
yes, yeah, mate. Without having a child in the house, we regularly used to sit and play Lego. Like,
Oh, I thought we regularly just put Lego across the floor and walk across it just to feel
Em's a
alive.
sadist. If I don't put the bins out or something, she gets this bag of Lego and just goes, right, fucking walk over that. What are you doing? Oh, fucker. She's waiting for something. There's something I forgot to do because it's perched in there.
You haven't tidied up the Lego. That's what you haven't done. The
Yeah,
Legos.
probably. I think there's some in that WWF lunchbox behind me, actually. I loved it. Look, AEW can do stupid bullshit, which all these fucking idiots on the internet can get really wound up about, just to bring us back on point. Oh, they use Lego. Even I was one with an arcade anarchy match, and then make it so good. Like, it is pro wrestling. It can be
So,
funny. It can, like, it was great.
so kind of just to go through it quickly, there was that power
Yes.
bomb. Then Penelope Ford gets involved, which leads to Chris
Mm,
Statlander popping out the
love
it's
that. How did I
claw
not mention
machine.
that?
They called it UFC UFO grabber or something, didn't they? So it's kind of
I instantly thought of Toy Story. I think
exactly,
that's
yeah.
the reference there, wasn't it? But the claw. Love
Claw.
Statlander. I absolutely love her. I think she's you can go on watch some of her stuff on the indies. She does a Guardians of the Galaxy entrance and she does the whole
Really?
dance. Yeah, I'll send it to you
Oh,
later. It's
sick.
brilliant. Well, I'll get it on the gram as well.
And then so just smashes her with that perspex glass from the claw machine in the face through the air hockey table. And then obviously the highlight of the match, they're going up the ramp. Oh, actually,
Yeah,
we get to the real pop, I just wanted to comment because it was really interesting. I see someone say this online that it might have been Michael Sidgwick, that every weapon that Miro grabbed was either a chair, a kendo stick, really WWE stuff,
right.
but the other guys were going for the more obscure stuff, and that was what worked for them. So that was quite clever.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I
So
just
that,
will say, I want to see Miro move on now.
yep,
I want to see him leave Kip and thingy and go on this rampage, kill Lance Archer because he means fuck all to me. Take out some bigger guys, Luchasaurus, whoever. Um, I don't want to see
definitely.
the title change hands yet, but I want to see him. I want to see him floating around there, waiting for that title shot. But yes, then the moment of the evening. What
So
did we
good.
hear? We could hear something, a rumbling in the distance, and I was as soon as they panned to that ramp. I
You
mean,
knew it. You just knew.
and return of Trent. Who doesn't love Trent as well? It's
The
so
double
like,
denim Scott Hall look as well.
yeah. I mean, there's something of a closeted geek about wrestling fans. We sit on the fence between being, there you go, amazing. We sit on the fence between out and out kind of geeks, cosplaying, kind of like anime watching, games console playing people. But we also tipple over into the world of boxing, UFC, and sports. So we're like the coolest of the fucking geeks in that world, if you could say that. So that's why it's perfectly acceptable that I just popped for a wrestler making his return, a wrestler who I really like, and getting dropped off by his mum in the minivan, who had previously fucking flipped off. The
Just
last
so.
time she was seen, it was raising the finger, like, yeah, and
So
you'd have a bit
good.
of Sue, wouldn't you?
Oh, I'd have it around for tea in a heartbeat, mate.
You'd have them seats folded right down in the minivan, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah. I hope she's got a good
Amazing.
sound system because I'm
I'm
playing
sure
some
she
Barry White
has.
girl and we getting it
Oh
on.
yeah.
So yeah, then obviously they win the match. Best friends after Trent gets involved. We get a spot through the stage, which
Yeah.
was clearly a bunch of tables, which was a bit weird. And then the reunion,
There we
the hug,
go.
beautiful moments, beautiful stuff, and a beautiful, lovely
Sue's
ending.
definitely had
Do
work done. She's spending some of that AEW money, isn't she? She's got that calm dollar and she
you
looks
know
like
what it
she's
is?
trimmed herself up.
It's the insurance money from the first van that got wrecked. I reckon she spent it all.
Wow. Yeah, no, it could be. I just thought she'd got a massive check from Tony Khan and he said, go on, take some, shave 15 years off that boat race, girl. Go and get some surgery done. It was brilliant. Um, what was Dynamite about Dynamite for you, GG?
Sue, could there be anything else? Sue is the most dynamite thing about life in general, let alone this
In my
TV show.
experience, they
So,
generally are. Yeah.
and what about yourself? Same thing or anything else?
No,
With Dynamite?
it was a pinnacle inner circle brawl. I haven't
Mm.
enjoyed a brawl that much since the inner circle, and it was when Jericho was feuding against the dot and dabs or whatever it was. Do you remember they went backstage? Cody punched Jericho
When he was
through the
waiting in the
glass.
box and
Yeah,
stuff, yeah,
being
that was
all
brilliant.
smug, and that brawl was amazing. And this again, like, I mean, I'm a wrestling fan. I'm of that age. I'm a bit jaded. I'll sit and watch most stuff like this, and I was like, "Fucking yeah, come on!" Like, and then Sue came out, and I was like, "Sue's here, Trent's here." I loved it. It's why I watch wrestling. It's why everyone should watch wrestling, to jump up and down like a fucking crazed gibbon in front of your TV.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what was your diner shite this week?
The Matt Hardy family. Fuck off. Go away, disappear for a year, come back with Jeff when he's out of contract, and just be the Hardy Boys. That's the only salvageable thing I think Matt Hardy can do for me. You? What was diner shite?
I think I don't. I was going to be harsh and give it to Christian because I don't think he's necessarily proven his point to me yet. So yeah, do you know what, Christian? Let's
You're
do some
not.
more work. Yeah, I am going to. I think
You
he's not.
son of a bitch.
I'm sorry,
Right.
mate. He's not outworked me. He's not worked me yet. I'm not a fan yet. So let's.
I've got to seriously think about. I'm going to go running back to the safety of Monday Night Chores. I don't know if I want to do another episode of this.
What, with a bunch of Christian marks? Is that what you want? Yeah.
Dave told me this would never work. He said that all we do is agree on everything. And now we've had our first disagreement,
And it's
I'm
over.
throwing my fucking toys out the pram. That's how it is with me, yeah.
But you've got Sue here. You don't get Sue in '95.
True.
Raw
Yeah, no, that's
95.
true.
So
I'm
this is your
only
safe
coming
place.
back for. I'm only coming back for Sue.
Don't worry, she'll be definitely on next week. Next week's episode.
Good.
100.
She's got to be. Yeah.
Right.
Super.
So moving on to the crux of the show, basically. So we want to get everyone involved and have your say on Dynamite every week. We want your scores out of 10. So many people replied this week, so thank you so much for all getting involved. So this is the competition between me and you now. So should we first, what would you give it, and what do you think the listeners or the watchers, the peepers, gave Dynamite this week? I have not looked at the score. My missus kindly added them all up for me, and I have the answer in my pocket.
Popped it in your pocket for you. Right. Okay. I personally would give this an 8.65 out of 10. We need to leave somewhere for it to go. Let's just live in the hope that Dynamite will get better. This is about as good a 2-hour wrestling show as you're going to see on TV. Definitely. Having said that, all you fucking idiots on Twitter are so cynical. I read all the bullshit that you're writing. All right, it's going to be lower than that as an overall, because it only takes one idiot to go, oh, I'll give it a 3.5 because it's an arcade machine and someone's like the things that I love. So as an average, I'm going to predict we're coming in at a 5.5 out of 10. This is what your friends, not mine, your friends on Twitter have said. I don't have any friends on Twitter.
Most of them. Okay. Most of them are my friends.
Some of them are enemies.
There are a couple of enemies.
I've noticed them in your comment section. Yeah, I've got my fucking eyes on
them. Thanks. Fucking send Sam after you. Send Sam around your gaff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I personally, I thought it was a strong episode. It was great. It was just a good week of programming. There wasn't any standout matches or any like kind of brilliant Dynamite matches that we're used to, but overall I just thought the whole show was good. Lots of character work, and it was just a really fun show. So I personally would give it an 8. And
okay, good.
I think because of the whole main event and because of Sue, I could see an 8 as well, to be fair, from our audience. So
I've really thought a little of our peeps, haven't I? Our Twitters. I'm sorry.
Is the big reveal.
If they prove me wrong, I'll apologise.
So this week,
this court cat. Yeah, go on.
Are you ready? So you said 5.5, and I went in with an 8. The average score this week, 7.7. So I was close.
So you take the first
that is a point
round.
For me.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take that. And sorry to everyone on Twitter. I thought less of you than I should have, but I'm sure at some point you'll let me down.
Never,
thus
never
justifying
doubt
my
them.
low opinion of you all. Yeah.
Never doubt our
Okay.
listeners. So obviously, once we wrap up, you'll have to walk through Lego as we agreed. So we'll do that once we're off air. So make sure you're fully undressed for that, because you know the rules. And I will be counting the Lego. So I want to make
I've
sure
got
it's all there
57
after.
pieces of Lego, or Legos as they're called.
Right, so we'll wrap it up there, shall we? Make sure
Absolutely,
you
young man.
catch us
Pleasure.
next week, same place, same time. Catch Monday Night Chores wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Check out my podcast. There's something about wrestling. Anything else to add before we wrap up, Sam?
No, I'm going to say it's a good night from me. And come on, you want to be on the show so bad? Come on, can't get it. Oh, I don't want to. And it's a good night from Emily Wakefield. Oh,
It's a good night
next
from
week
me.
I'll come back. Go, GG, go. So,
it's a good night from me. It's a good night from you. And it's a good night from Sue. Thanks for listening, people. Bye-bye.
love ya.